Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
In a few moments, the news.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Dilbin Samarasinghe and read by Rumesh Pires. First, the headlines. The Ministry of Energy says present fuel stocks will be issued according to a priority list. Private buses used for public transport services will be given fuel through SLTB depots. The Health Ministry says there is no shortage of medicines in the country. The Northern Province gets a bountiful harvest from all crops cultivated using only organic fertilizer. In news overseas, huge Russian convoy nears Kiev. And in sports, it's Cricket Women's World Cup, New Zealand shocks Australia. And now the local news in detail. Media spokesman of the Ministry of Energy, Chaminda Hettiarachchi, says present fuel stocks will be issued according to a priority list as a protective measure until the commencement of distribution of oil from the ships that are scheduled to arrive in the country. He said that 2 oil ships are expected to arrive in the country this week. State Minister Dilum Ammanugama says that private buses used for public transport services will be given fuel through SLTB depots. He said depot managers have been informed in this regard. He added that the decision was taken considering the difficulties faced by private bus operators under prevailing circumstances. Medical Supplies Division of the Health Ministry says that there is no shortage of medicines in the country. Deputy Director General of the division, Dr. A.D. Sudarshana, said that there had not been a situation where they were not in a position to provide necessary medicines. He said all orders for medicines from hospitals are being supplied. Northern Province Governor Jeevan Tyagaraja says a successful harvest has been received from all crops cultivated using only organic fertilizer in the province. He said that a bountiful harvest has been received from potato, vegetable and fruit cultivations. He further said the harvest is taken by trains to supermarkets in the south. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance.
Continuing with more local news, the Health Ministry said today 168 more patients have recovered from COVID-19 infection within the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 609,092. Meanwhile, 20,720 patients are under medical care at present. Sri Lanka has recorded 646,034 cases and 16,222 deaths since the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. State Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says nearly 1 billion rupees have been received as compensation for the damage caused by the Express Pearl ship that caught fire near the Colombo harbour. He said a compensation of $64 million have been demanded through an insurance company for the damages caused to the environment and other sectors. State Minister Wijesekara said the compensation amount received so far has been distributed among 23 stakeholders. State Minister Duminda Desanayake says all government after independence should be held responsible for the present debt problem. He said loans obtained for development should be used to uplift people's lives. He pointed out that although the opposition criticizes present issues, it has not presented any alternative program. International Finance Corporation has appointed Lisa Kasna as the new country manager for Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Based in Colombo, Kasna will focus on diversifying and growing IFC's portfolio while helping strengthen private sector in both countries and promoting inclusive growth. Colombo International Airport Ratmalana, the first international airport in Sri Lanka, established in 1938, managed and operated by Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Private Limited, celebrated its 84th anniversary yesterday. The ceremonial opening of the then Colombo Airport was held on the 28th of February 1938 by Governor Sir Andrew Colcott, with the launch of air mail service between Colombo and Mumbai using the mailroom at the Ratmalana Aerodrome. Colombo International Airport Ratmalana will have its international scheduled flight operations to destinations such as the Maldives from the end of this month. And that ends local news.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. A health insurance plan to honor our most valued elders by the protectors of the nation. We now give our treasured senior citizens access to the very best medical insurance, specially tailored for anyone over 60. What's more, you don't need medical screening to access this policy. And Medi60 covers a wide range of illnesses. Only from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Issuing a new set of health guidelines applicable for March, the Health Ministry has lifted restrictions where full capacities have been allowed for almost all events and functions except for weddings. However, limited capacity is still in effect for private gatherings, weddings and exhibitions where a maximum of 75% of the usual capacity is allowed. There are no specific guidelines for religious places, but has been informed to conduct special festivals and occasions as per guidelines issued by the Health Ministry. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Central Bank has sought the assistance of the public to crack down on unauthorized money changers. Public has been requested to inform the Foreign Exchange Department of the Central Bank via telephone numbers 011-239-8827, 011-247-7375, 011-239-8568 or email address dfem@cbsl.lk about such activities. And once again, those numbers for the Foreign Exchange Department of the Central Bank 011-239-8827, 011-247-7375, 011-239-8568 or email address dfem@cbsl.lk. And that came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, Friendly Leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Moving on to the bulletin of world news, first the headlines. Huge Russian convoy nears Kiev. The US says there is no need to worry about a nuclear war. Turkey warns against passing of warships from its straits. And now the world news in detail. A huge Russian military convoy is edging closer to Ukraine's capital, Kiev. Ukrainian presidential advisor Oleksiy Ostrovich says Russian forces are trying to lay siege to Kiev and Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. The United States has ruled out enforcing a no-fly zone on Russian aircraft over Ukraine after Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky urged Western nations to consider such a measure to stop any further Russian bombardment. Russia will continue its so-called military operation in Ukraine until it achieves its goal, the country's defense minister has said, according to a report by the Interfax news agency. Belarus has no plans to join Russia's military operation in Ukraine. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has been quoted as saying by the Belarusian state news agency Belta. UN delegates observed a minute of silence before discussing Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. US President Joe Biden says there is no need to worry about the possibility of a nuclear war, despite Russia putting its nuclear missile forces on special alert. A senior US Defense Department official told reporters today that although they have been monitoring the situation, they have not yet seen anything specific resulting from the direction Putin gave in terms of noticeable muscle movement. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu has said that his country warned the international community about passing of warships through the country's straits since the war between Russia and Ukraine started. He said Ankara has been implementing an international pact on naval passage to the Black Sea. Under the 1936 Montreux Convention, Turkey can limit the passage of warships. Back to the headlines of the world news. Huge Russian convoy nears Kiev. The US says there is no need to worry about a nuclear war. Turkey warns against passing of warships from its straits. And that concludes the bulletin of world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by... Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070-400-1928.
Water Supply and Drainage Minister Vasudevan Kara said that the program to provide clean drinking water to all by 2025 is being carried out methodically. He stated this during the district review meeting of the ministry held at the Trincomalee District Secretariat Conference Hall. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by... The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070-400-1928. Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Moving on to sports, it's cricket. Hosts New Zealand shocked tournament favourites Australia by chasing 322 for the loss of just one wicket to win their Women's World Cup warm-up match. Captain Sophie Derwing struck 161 not out with support from Amelia Kerr's unbeaten 92 and Susie Bates 63. The White Ferns reached their huge target with almost 7 overs left. Captain Meg Lanning, Alicia Healy, Ash Gardner and Beth Mooney had earlier all made half-centuries in Australia's 321 all-out in Lincoln. It is a turnaround for New Zealand's first warm-up fixture when they were beaten by Pakistan, the lowest-ranked team in the tournament. And that ends Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP You Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Labour Ministry has commenced discussions with the World Bank and the International Labour Organization to find avenues to fund the proposed Social Security and Pension Scheme for the private sector employees. Labour Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva said they are currently holding discussions with the World Bank and International Labour Organization to find funds for the scheme. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by...
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP You Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Colombo inflation hit a new 13-year high in February from a year ago, but the prices measured on a monthly basis showed a deceleration, pointing to easing of prices in the months to come. According to the Colombo Consumer Price Index compiled by the Census and Statistics Department, Colombo prices climbed by 15.1% in the 12 months to February. And that is economic news. The weather report is next.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And finally, on to the weather report. The Met Department says showery condition in the northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in the Matale district is expected to enhance from tomorrow to Friday. Heavy rainfall above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in these areas during the above period. Showers will occur at the time in the eastern and Uva provinces and in the Matale, Nuwara and Polonnaruwa districts. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in above areas. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern province and in Kandy, Hambantota and Anuradhapura districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at few places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Galle, Matara and Kalutara districts during the evening or night. Wind speed can increase up to 50 km per hour at times in the northern, north central, eastern, northwestern and Uva provinces, eastern slopes of the Central Hills and in the Hambantota district. And that concludes the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, a recap of the main news headlines. The Ministry of Energy says present fuel stocks will be issued according to a priority list. Private buses used for public transport services will be given fuel through SLTB depots. The Health Ministry says there is no shortage of medicines in the country. The Northern Province gets a bountiful harvest from all crops cultivated using only organic fertilizer. And in news overseas, huge Russian convoy nears Kiev. And in sports, it's Women's World Cup cricket. New Zealand shocks Australia. And with that, we conclude this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation and back to Ronald to keep you entertained this evening.